Welcome back, everybody, to RLCS Season X. We are about to get into our North American semifinal very soon, but before then, we've got ourselves a halftime show whilst the players get themselves all ready. 2v2 from the North American side of the field, $500 just for showing up today, and $1,000 for each win you get. We're going to be playing 3 games achieves, and some of these players might be looking quite forward to this.
Yeah, Shock and LJ. Two-piece, no longer Beast Mode. Beast Mode's not here, so we've swapped in Magic Bear. Magic Bear, I told him to make sure to laugh at Beast Mode since he couldn't show up. So I'm looking forward to seeing Two-piece as well. If you don't know much about him, he's a guy that's played pretty solidly in a lot of the community tournaments, most notably Beyond Astronauts, and he's placed quite highly, taking first and second places fairly consistently. So potential, as he just turned 15, to maybe show up on the RLCS, but currently, LJ going to start off the scoring.
Yeah, maybe not the start that he wanted, but hey, Rocket League tends not to be all that kind to you, as Magic Bear just couldn't quite figure out where the wheels were in his car. But this should be good. I think this is taking show match very literally here, Achieves, because this is a good chance for a player like Two-piece to really show up on the scene a little bit, show what he's capable of, and maybe take that community experience and turn that into, well, winning $1,000 per game win.
Yeah, good opportunity for a nice birthday present for him.
AJ is going to try and hold off for the time being. As you unfamiliar with competitive 2s, a lot more dynamic than you might have got used to seeing over on the free side. Good ability to take a few more risks. You've always got that partner ready to try and help you out.
Tough matchup though in 2v2, as you do have to always balance that risk reward. It is kind of skewed a little bit more towards risk management in 2v2, because that second player a lot of the time is just put in so many different situations where really got to be careful with your approach, because you can find yourself in a bad spot really quick. Set up for Magic Bear, a nice save from Shock.
Yeah, the results as well can be extremely skewed.
Yes.
14 goal games wouldn't really be too surprising, but so far both these teams setting themselves into it, looking for the good challenges as Magic Bear runs onto a shot. Not the best strike from him. He'll expect better from himself in the future. Here we go, Shock with the first major outplay attempt. And good composure on the side of the defender. So far, despite one mistake leading to a goal, both teams looking pretty stable. Here's a big question over Two-piece. What are you going to do over here? It goes to the backboard. You can already see the Sharks waiting for him on the halfway line, but he does a good job, buys his team a little bit of space to work with.
That is that hard part, that dismount off the back wall with the ball. As LJ, that's a nice touch out to Shock. Unfortunately, the spacing not going to work out for him. So Two-piece and Magic Bear continuing to play pretty solid defense, but struggling to generate some chances of their own. Of course, as I say that, Magic Bear denied by Shock, and Two-piece in charge of buying some time here.
Yeah, Magic Bear just going to take a second or two to get into this. Kind of a last-second addition to this match. See what him and Two-piece can come up with. Booming clear, no boost for Two-piece. He can't quite follow it, so it's all up to Magic Bear. So constantly be on top of it. LJ once again goes to the air. Wants the dunk, and that's a great save. Here's the follow-up, another amazing save. Keeps it out. Half the game already gone. The better offensive opportunities have 100% gone to Afterthought, but they haven't converted them yet, and that's still just a 1-goal lead.
That was a pretty good opportunity, though, for Two-piece and Magic Bear to get going back the other way, but see the pass from Two-piece just a little offline and also didn't have boost, so not sure if the follow-up would have really been there anyway, but they do finally have a chance to hold on to possession here if Two-piece can get a nice solid block, and indeed he does.
Oh, LJ wins the challenge. He's going to start racing away to the other side of the field. Also waiting for Two-piece. 5 boost. What can you do? Enough, apparently. As it's still somehow only a 1-goal lead. Afterthought. I mean, must have thought they'd be at least 2 or 3 up by now. No Shock. He's not going to be able to recover for another shot. Two-piece over to the wall. Magic Bear is already around, but so is Shock. Doesn't really feel like going back just yet. Also steals the boost. This is a horrible situation, actually, for last minute to be in. 0 boost on both Two-piece and Magic Bear. And they've just got to try and feint it out, get themselves some time. Magic Bear, you can see, scrambling around to get whatever he can. Two-piece will be the one for 100 now. He sets himself up on the goal line as the attempted musty doesn't quite work. Two-piece breaks to the other side of the field. He's going to need a bit of help, especially from that angle. Gets it set up. In comes Magic Bear. 1 each.
Look at the control from 2Piece as he takes it around the corner. He doesn't really rush anything. He lets it roll and takes off ball can to make sure he can really square up Shock, and also gets a little tap on LJ to make sure he can't tip it off the bar. I've been watching 2Piece's camera the whole time. He's actually got great approaches to a lot of the challenges he's taking, especially on defense, as that's where they've, of course, had to spend most of their time. A floater from Magic Bear, but 2Piece, he really approaches the ball quite nicely. And the timing was so good, but LJ just one step better.
Yeah, there's only so many of these you can really face down before something goes in. When LJ pulls it off like that, it's always going to be very, very difficult. Yeah, especially 2Piece would have seen that ball start to drop a little bit. That's when you start committing to a position that you want to defend from. And once it ended up rising yet again, it's always going to be in a bit of trouble. 55 seconds left in game number 1. Reminder, we will be playing all 3. $1,000 on the line for every single one. LJ, he is starting to style right now. Sets up Shock. No chance he misses.
I think Magic Bear got a little bit antsy here. He kind of sees 2Piece following this flip reset and sees it kind of just float there. And it's just a weird jump, to be honest. But either way, was never going to have the time to recover as he was instantly punted back out away from the weak shot. So 43 seconds actually totally doable in 2v2. It's just the biggest problem for Magic Bear and 2Piece has been gaining possession.
Yeah, absolutely has. They've been forced to really just go for it. I mean, every single time we've seen them attack, I don't feel like both players have had over 50 boost. They've had to just try and deal with what they can, and another attempt at a flip reset directly in front of the goalkeeper. This one's not going to quite work, but so far the challenges have been good.
Oh, can he get back to it? Ooh, this is a goal. It's got to be.
Oh,
my gosh, he recovered.
Oh, Shock!
Did we ever doubt it, though? Did we ever doubt it? Shock's always been a defensive wizard.
I doubted it until I saw his car. Then you just knew, oh, he's already got the recovery. That was really horrible to see if you're on the side of last minute, but for Afterthought, they've done what they would have wanted to do. And, well, I've got to say, you know, Shock really put himself on the map at the end of that one, but LJ's offense, how are you supposed to deal with this? He's just constantly going to where he dares you to take the mid-air challenge against you.
Yeah, that was a really well-executed game from LJ and Shock, and you'll notice that it never really felt out of control either. And it's just because they were doing a nice job of pathing around, picking up the small boost, making sure they never had to give up too much space by walking out over to the side of the pitch to go collect 100, and being able to consistently make decent challenges and continue to stick that ball close to that blue goal line instead of letting a big clear come through. So you gotta love the offensive pressure from Afterthought. Had a nice, easy, effortless control that it gave them.
And by 2 standards, a pretty low-scoring game here for our first one. Still got 2 more to go, expecting to see these players open up once they start to figure out, you know, little things that they can take advantage of throughout this series. But for last minute, I think we were all pretty much agreed on just have some boost. If you can find some way to have some boost, we'll work from there. But in Rocket League, if you don't have boost, nothing else really matters up to that point, especially if you want to try and get a little bit of offense going. But mechanically, they look good defensively, only letting in 3 under that much pressure, also pretty solid. But we got to try and see now a little bit of the orange side of the field if they want to try and take one of these games.
Absolutely. You know, obviously, you have to enjoy the pressure that Shock and LJ were able to bring, but 2Piece and Magic Bear definitely showed that they can handle them, and despite, you know, being constantly pressed into those challenges with LJ's pressure in the air, they had really good lines to a lot of those challenges, and it's just a matter of stringing those challenges together back up the pitch. But Magic Bear is going to come up empty in a bad way. It's an easy one for Shock.
LJ continues to be brilliant so far. Silky smooth, dances around the entire defense. And it only took 20 seconds this time around. Afterthought doing exactly what they are supposed to do. They would be expected to probably take all 3, especially given how, well, last minute this team has been put together. But still, it's always a danger, and these games can get out of hand. Magic Bear, we know he can be so amazing in these spots, and he does nail it.
I got to know if he just had the line on that one. I mean, the trajectory off the wall looks beautiful. He gave it the 4-boost squirt, and then was just he was helpless. It was all contingent on if Shock got the touch or not. But you got to give credit. Magic Bear had a beautiful trajectory if that bounce actually happened. That's quite a play.
Those are like the shots that I don't really know how to name them, but but whenever I see them, they make me happy to see, which is
Yeah.
just setting yourself up off that wall for a backboard hit. And you don't need to use any boost. You don't need to reposition. You're just like, yeah, I'm going to get there eventually, but I'm good. That ball will be here, and I've scored. Something about that's so satisfying to me to
Ross would
watch.
say, a happy accident.
Well, no accident about this so far. Last minute. Looking, well, they are very game to try and take something here. Magic Bear's first touch, not really what he wanted. Kind of drops the ball from a bouncing position, makes the dribble more difficult. That shot going across the face of goal. Neither team really wanting to commit to midfield challenges. They're kind of content to let the other take their turn. Especially when we are seeing such high-flying offense as this. As long as you can control your 2 back boosts, the offense only going to last for so long.
Shock was really trying to get aggressive there and put the pressure back on Shock and LJ, but 2-piece able to stick one on the wall there, and another race is Magic Bear wisely going to wait his turn there on the goal line. And want to potentially give up an open net with a possible redirect.
Off-ball player, so crucial. You can't. You just have to completely read the game, isn't it? You just how offensive have I got to be? Do I need to stay back? Do I trust my teammate to get this play?
And even if you do, is the risk worth it, right?
Yeah, that's.
You can always press hard in a 3v3. You can always, or not always, but a lot of the time, feel confident in making an aggressive push. Is Magic Bear is actually going to get a big bump here on the back line on Shock as 2-piece wins a challenge, and that's really all you need to score an easy one.
I'm glad that you noticed it, because I certainly didn't, not from the view that I had. Well, that is half the job done. The other half is trying to hold on to this now for 2 minutes and 46. I'll say that actually. 1 goal lead in the game of 2s. Yeah, not really.
You never
You're going to need a little bit more than that.
Never feel confident in a 1 goal lead. Doesn't matter what game mode you're playing.
All right, Chiefs, here's the question for you. What is the worst lead you have dropped in a game of 2s?
I think 5.
Ooh. That's harsh. It's also kind of harsh for LG to keep playing like this. I'm trying to remember. I think it was about 6 goal leads, because my Twitch chat just ended up saying, yeah, no, 6 goal leads never safe.
6 goal lead, never safe, yeah.
So,
bad day when you let one get away from you.
If you run into either me or Chiefs, what we're saying is, don't surrender. You're still very much got a shot.
Got a good chance.
LJ.
Last goal, though. Shock and LJ. If you notice, Shock, he really tied up the whole defense there. A little fake, and then the instant high pop all the way back across the net. Now he wants the air dribble back the other way. He's just going all sorts of ways on Magic Bear 2-piece.
Yeah, getting so much success from this play. 2-piece wanted to try and figure it out. He couldn't afford to really commit to the backboard early, because if he does that, Shock's just going to drop low. So for 2-piece, that is a lost situation he's found himself in. And just from the pure mechanics that we are getting as that goes off the backboard, LJ, can he just wait for it? Drops onto him, 2 goal leads.
Unlucky 2-goal swing right there, and just the perfect kickoff. It floats back towards LJ and away from the follow-up player over on last minute. That just makes it that much more dependent on the timing. That's why cheating up, while I think very risky in 2v2, still has its merits. It pays off a lot more in 2v2 than it does 3v3. It's a little fake from LJ, and 2-piece gonna stick right with him.
2-piece still playing incredibly well on defense. He is also around, but it looks like Magic Bear wants to go the whole way by himself, and he's managed to hit! Magic Bear is brilliant!
He just keeps turning in the double taps when you think the defense is gonna get something. And really, LJ, try as he might, he really actually did have a very awkward line to take there, up the post, out into space. He was not able to have that nice, clean approach from the wall. You really just got to trust your, angle on the roll-up, and unfortunately for him, the timing was not going to work out in his favor.
2-piece has to go early. Can't afford to be harassed too much. Tried to set himself up on the ball. His turn. He's seen Magic Bear do it 3 times now. He try and get himself 1 to bring themselves back into it. 2-piece far side. Magic Bear wants to try and squeeze it over to him, but 2-piece backs down, at least temporarily. 1 goal lead. You can definitely turn that around at a moment. Can't afford to really drop down by 2. There's no real shooting opportunity here for Afterthought. They'll be forced to move on to defense. Low boost this time for 2-piece. Doesn't matter. He's got it to Magic Bear.
Oh, wow.
Wins the challenge. And we are all tied up.
And this is all based around the transition speed of two-piece here. Shock doesn't really have the luxury of challenging instantly, and he unfortunately makes one tiny misstep. He cuts out towards the wall for just a split second, and as soon as he did that, two-piece just cut that ball right back towards the middle. And that little bit of extra space let Magic Bear get out in front and still have enough room to slam it in that right side of the net.
What I did really love there from two-piece was just how disciplined he was. He only had 30 boosts to really work with. Very easy to try and use that to get to the ball, pop it up into a dribble position. He didn't. He waited for it and allowed it to be used to up the pace as he went for the pass. And it was absolutely the correct decision to make. 40 seconds left. An opportunity for two-piece, and it's off the crossbar. That was the one. That was the biggest gimme.
Oh, I think he thought it was going to be in on the flick, and so he kind of gave up on it. And that's the problem, is you've now just let Shock and LJ back into the game, and could have held all the pressure, and oh my gosh. A good realization knowing that was going to roll up the wall, but that would have been really tragic. Magic Bear with a flip reset over LJ, and what can the guy not do? He's got 5 goals.
Two-piece is struggling a little bit. Magic Bear, absolutely not.
Oh,
just skims the crossbar. Could not have caught that any better. And Magic Bear. You know, it's been almost a year now since everyone started to catch him on their radars. He's still very much capable teammate to anybody, but now one final opportunity for Afterthought. Off the ceiling, LJ, no boost, no chance. And that is $1,000 secured for last minute.
There you go. Bring it back in fine fashion, to be quite honest. But, oh boy, I don't know if you can depend on a 5-goal game from Magic Bear for the third one. This has been a much better match, though. I was curious about how two-piece was going to be able to stack up on defense, and to be honest, he's been phenomenal in that regard. The offense actually has been incredible from him as well. The only real downfall was not finishing that one opportunity he had, but you can forgive that. Everyone's made the mistake of thinking it's in, and they just can't react to the crossbar bounce. But Shock and LJ, huge departure from how game one went, where it was just pressure, pressure, pressure. Adjustments made, and a couple of mistakes as well from Afterthought, and they let last minute right back in.
We get another show match that is going to be going into our third game as we try and actually find out a winner. You know, we're going to play all these anyway, but still, you want bragging rights? I'm sure you want yourself that extra $1,000. LJ certainly wants that. He's maybe got a bit of pride on this as well. Magic Bear seems to have stepped up and said, all right, well, you seem to be going for an awful lot of air dribbles. I wonder if I can do it as well. The infield pass, well saved.
Tough save from Magic Bear in that situation, and what an ability to get back in front of it. Now he's got himself in another weird situation, and he's also managed to delay that touch as well, letting two-piece pick up the boost, and now it's all about control here to break up out of your half. And indeed, Shock and LJ forced to give a little ground as two-piece again managing the challenge quite nicely. Don't try and do too much, just make sure you stick the big part of the car behind it so you don't get it taken off your hood. As Magic Bear, I just want to know what else he can do here in the third game. I feel like we've seen so much.
I think you've pretty nailed it as well. Two-piece, not trying to do too much. When you've got a teammate that is playing the way Magic Bear is, the worst thing you can really do is think that that's also you. It's not. Magic Bear needs that space. If you can give him that time, get him that boost, it's absolutely the way. And, you know, try and keep him as on form as you possibly can. LJ waits for Shock back on the back line. It's the air yet again. Who wants to challenge? Magic Bear realizing that it was eventually going to come over to him. And that's a nice bounce actually for him. Took the shot. LJ well prepared.
Just a little tester there to see if the defense is paying attention. And two-piece again in charge of buying time. There's no way you can score that unless you drop it down. And he's got to cut it down in beside the post. Always a difficult shot. Couldn't see much through the smoke, but nice attempt from two-piece and Magic Bear.
Now two-piece sets himself up. He's up against LJ. The first touch, far too heavy. LJ looks to escape. Magic Bear waits around, is beat. Two-piece forced to work without that 100 boost. Thankfully for him, he did start this play up with 80, not 800. I'm sure he'd like that as well.
I didn't realize we had free play settings.
Two-piece looks for the challenge. He does get it. That gives his team a little bit of space as well as boost control. We see on Shock, he's on absolutely nothing. He's going to be looking around, trying to get something for himself. Has he got enough to get the save? Yes, he has. And now that sets LJ off. One-on-one against Magic Bear, who chases him down. No chance to really set up.
Nice realization from Magic Bear as well, back on that orange hat. He was thinking about maybe I can go and steal a corner boost, but he was keeping his one eye on the play, and instead of committing out to that corner, knew he needed to get back to make that defensive stop, prevent Shock and LJ from taking the first lead here. And what is actually a very hotly contested third match.
Both teams are doing such a great job of not leaving themselves with only one option defensively. They are covering so well with their positioning. You want to go solo? We'll get a challenge. You want to go infield? I'll still be there. Trusting their positioning to do the work. Two-piece, 1-on-2. Couldn't quite get past the first player. A lot of pressure on Magic Bear to win that one. He would have had no support. There's Two-piece. Couldn't find the net. But there's a bit of confidence for you. Now the breakaway. Magic Bear has to make sure that he times that well. And Shock sees himself go skying past the ball.
It's lucky, though, for Magic Bear. If that shot was in frame from Shock, he was cooked. Nothing he could do about it. He committed a little too hard for that two-piece attempt. Shock going for the cheeky musty flick and not able to get any English on it. Kind of just floated straight off the car. And LJ is definitely going to need a little help if he wants to score that one. Shock aiming left side, and he's going to miss the double tap. Close call.
Once again, Shock's ability to recover just slows the plays down, gets an extra touch. Two-piece and Magic Bear, both move forward. Magic Bear, make sure that, that's not going to be too much of a problem. We get just over a minute left. We're talking about, high-scoring games. We're at absolutely nothing so far. We've got a minute left. Magic Bear would like to try and cause something to happen for his team, but Shock just guides it away. Absolutely right, Achieves. This has actually been kind of intense.
It's a nail biter for the third one is, Magic Bear. Oh,
that was risky.
I was about to say, you gave him space, and Shock knew it. He's like, none of that. We've seen what that guy does.
I did like it, though. Bought himself a bit of time and actually set himself up in a more central position, so that way the challenge less likely just to bounce into his own side of the field. So it was good. Risky, but it was good. And somehow, despite all of the risks that both of these teams have taken, we're still waiting on our first goal. Shock has got an option over on that far side, but he has missed it. This is a chance now for last minute, and nobody really making contact. And when these sort of mistakes come through, it becomes a bit of a domino effect. Two-piece already up. Oh, that's a bit risky. Magic Bear starts to scramble back. Not the best first hit. He puts it on the back foot, wants to try and recover. Shock moves in. Beautiful. Magic Bear has been sublime throughout this show match. Last minute call up, but he has been brilliant.
That was quality. You love the defend the strong shot. Got to get the wheels back on the wall nice and clean. And what a beautiful challenge to send yourself into OT. Two-piece. Can you set one more up?
Magic Bear off the back. Can't get himself another touch, but that just baits in Shock. Now Magic Bear against LJ. Who's pick up for LJ? A difficult angle to work with. Two-piece has also got to try and really manage the balance here. How aggressive do you want to position? We'll know that if he gets the shot, it's $1,000. LJ to grab it, as that's a great save. Who's going to be first on the follow-up? Magic Bear scrambles back. And yep, it was a very quick decision made by Shock just to try and stay back and defend.
Ooh, and a nasty kick as well. Two-piece got bumped. This is going to be tight.
Shock can't quite set up. Afterthought would love to just to try and isolate the goalkeeper in one of those air dribbles. Here is Two-piece of his own attempt. Can he nail it? Oh, it's just bounced too high. Up goes Magic Bear. He wants to win it. He will do exactly that. And a 1-0 victory for last minute.
What a chop down from Two-piece. I think Shock on the initial challenge was expecting the fake, as he's thinking maybe Two-piece was trying to score it himself, but Two-piece just continued to go up and up off the wall, and boy, he nearly did it himself. And Magic Bear, way to be there for the follow-through. Again, they just slightly outposition Afterthought. One mistake in how they should be approaching a challenge, and that's all it took.
That was great fun. I was expecting, how many flip resets can we see turn into a goal? And what we got instead, that was like a tournament match right there. That was less show match. That was both teams really going out of their way to put their best foot forward. And for Magic Bear and Two-piece, they secure themselves 2,500 because they got 500 just for showing up, 1,000 for each win. And over on the other side, Afterthought have got themselves 1,500. So not bad for a day's work there, Achieves.
Pretty good day's work for all of the players players involved to be sure. You got to be satisfied with how everyone played. But all I learned is that if you play good defense in 2v2, you're always in it. And that's what Magic Bear and 2Piece did.
I just learned that there is actually possible to not concede any goals in a game of twos, which absolutely blows my mind. And speaking of absolutely blowing our mind, I'm more than ready for this, because after this break, we have got our second North American semifinal. Yesterday was brilliant. Let's see if today can be even better.